every single job just feels wrong. Like, what's up with that? Right? I know I've been there. I've been there. I know exactly how you feel. At some point you start thinking, maybe I'm the problem. There's something wrong with me. And let's not talk about the pressure you get from your family or partner. Ooh, this one is a big one. Who can't quite understand because they're not in your shoes and they're looking at you like you have two heads growing out of your body. Why can't you just be like a normal adult? Be responsible. Why do they always have to worry about you? Why can't you just get your things together? It's about time. You know, all of these. I know exactly what you mean, and it could be such a frustrating place to be. And that's why I want to show you that no, there's nothing wrong with you. This is why I'm so passionate about using astrology to really help you understand those really difficult parts of your life, those difficult challenges that you find yourself going through, because often the chart is right there. Your birth chart is right there waiting for you to dive into it to let you know why you're experiencing the things that you're experiencing in your life. And that's exactly what I do with all of my clients in our private sessions. And it's just always beautiful to see the light bulb goes on and to feel this deep sense of validation. Even today, I'm still finding ways. It's just a never ending process, but in a beautiful way. The chart is a lively thing. It's talking to you. The more receptive, the more you open to it. But today, I don't want to make this about astrology fancy talk. I really want to show you how we can understand you better. Why is this happening? Why does this keep recurring? Why does it feel like this nightmare that you stuck in? And I wanted to focus today's episode on one major reason why this can happen. Now, there are many reasons because the chart, I say that so many times, the chart is very unique, it's individual, it's tailored to you. Let me not get into this another one of my tangent about how fascinated I am with the sky and the cosmos, and let's not get into that today. I will restrict. But one, let's say I have a client. Actually, recently I went through that with a client of mine. We were reviewing that. We were reviewing their chart, and they had that same problem. You know, this problem can come in different format, but it's pretty much the same. When we're troubleshooting, it's the same problem. This deep sense of this dissatisfaction. It can also feel the same with success, but but now we're going to focus on jobs. When you feel like you can't keep a job, it's that same cycle. You get the job, you're excited about it, ooh, and then quickly it's a matter of time before it just loses that appeal. It starts as a blessing, then it starts slowly turning into a curse, that type of thing. And one reason, big reason behind that is your sixth house. We want to look at your sixth house. The sixth house is all about work, daily life, but more as in daily contribution into the world. Now, there's many houses in the chart that has to do with work and higher purpose. We're talking about the 10th house when it comes to work, but this is different. I didn't want this episode today to be mostly about work as in your purpose. I have my notes here, otherwise I could talk about this for hours. But I really wanted to focus on zooming onto the satisfaction that you get from the day-to-day grind, the day-to-day routine. And this is what I wanted to focus on, not in a greater my purpose sense. Yeah, that's something we can also talk about in sessions. But if that is something you struggle with, also, we will look deeper into the other parts of the chart. But for now, I really wanted to talk about just that overall you're not feeling attached to, you feel like your routine is all over the place. Like there's a lack of passion, there's a lack of you feel like a loose leaf in the wind. And this is where, like I said before, I would really pay attention to the sixth house, what's there, and also Uranus. Is Uranus, which is getting a moment of fame right now as it just entered Gemini. And is it in your sixth house? Is it anywhere near your sixth house? Is it at the cusp between the fifth and the sixth? Where is it? What is it doing? We want to know. Uranus is often seen as a trickster, but not just for the sake of it. Uranus is the status quo disturber because Uranus is operating on the higher vantage point, on the higher point POV, a higher point of view. And sometimes we get too caught up in our ways, and sometimes we're way far out of alignment. And that's where Uranus kind of comes in. And in the day to day life, it feels like we are totally out of our entire life is being screwed with. But on a higher level perspective, Uranus is operating somewhere else. So we want to know and see what is the placement. And even if Uranus is not in your sixth house, what type of relationship, what type of conversation is it having with your natal planets, right? With your natal Uranus. Because the way the birth chart is really nosy, by the way. It's nosy, it's juicy, it's gonna tell you all sorts of things. But it's an ongoing conversation, right? Because when you're born, the birth chart is almost like, how can I describe this? I talk about this a lot in previous episodes, so you can go back and check that out. But to keep this simple, it's a still screenshot of the sky, of the cosmos when you were born. Isn't that so cool? And that second you came out, boom, the time froze, and ting, the celestial universe to that. I wonder, like, imagine the celestial universe with their iPhone and then and taking a screenshot. Divine universal iPhone. But to be serious here, it's exactly the position of all the planets, the stars, everything at the moment of your birth, which is absolutely fascinating. And and funnily enough, we can tell your entire personality. We can tell so many things just based on that. Because we have to understand that everything is energy, and these are all energies, and they all have their own signatures, right? And that's why it's very unique to each one of us. So, and at the same time, we have the sky, which is always moving on the day to day, on the moment to moment, second to second. This concept of time that we have here, which I'm not going to get into spirituality because I don't want to make this too deep, but it's constantly interacting with that birth chart, with your own natal birth chart. They're constantly talking. It's just mind blowing. Anyhow, so we want to look at what is going on in your sixth house, and this is gonna give us so much things to work with, and then we come up with a plan about how to help you get out of that that stage. Because when we have friction, when we encounter friction in our lives, it's often because the universe is trying to attract our attention, right? It's trying to pull us out of autopilot. And it sucks to say, but if everything is amazing, well, we don't tend to question things. We tend to operate with the if it ain't broken, why fix it? And the universe is operating on a different level, as in we need to be in constant motion. We need to be constantly evolving and shedding skin, reinventing ourselves. And this is the purpose of the game of life. On that note, my love, like I said before, if that is something that you need help with, all my links are down below. We can see this privately one on one. And at the same time, I want to let you know that I do have a quiz that I created recently. I think it's a really fun quiz where you can see you can determine what is your emotional pattern, what's your emotional style, because often the reason why we're sabotaging or we cut up in so many loops is because we're not aware of our own emotional system or how we operate. And that way, like I say all the time, the first step to healing and to changing and to winning in life is awareness and consciousness. All the links are down below for my booking calendar and also for the quiz, which is a free quiz, of course. And I'd love to have you take it and let me know. I think it's such a fun way to do self work by making it fun and interactive. On that note, my love, I will see you in the next one and keep shining bright like a diamond. Bye.